I mean, if you just think, right, so I was here a year ago with you. How drastically different things are just a year ago. I mean, like a year ago, Donald Trump had his highest approval ratings that he's ever had. He was the greatest political comeback story in American history. Just something that was totally like, it was amazing the way he not only came back from, like, say, where he was right after January 6th, when the question was whether he was going to go to jail and going through all the trials and getting shot, and then to not only come back and win the popular vote and win every swing state, but he won the culture. He won the youth.
Yeah.
It would have been like, it would have seemed impossible just a few years earlier.
Black kids were calling him daddy.
Literally, black kids. John Jones is doing the Trump dance at Madison Square Garden. Yeah. I think we were both there that night. And just a crazy thing, right? And now, you know, he's totally like divided his base. There's an infight in the Republic, all this stuff. But anyway, so a year ago, when people were so excited about Donald Trump coming in, you never met one Trump supporter in your life who went, now we're going to get regime change in Venezuela.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited that Donald.
That's true. We were promised the no war. We were promised actually to end the wars and the bombings that have been taking place forever. And instead, all he's been doing is that exact thing, while the whole Republican Party as a whole, besides very few, Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, are calling out Israel. But the uniparty swamp, don't get it twisted, both sides are owned by Israel 100%. And as we know, Trump's biggest donor was the Adelsons, the Adelsons, the Jewish family who puts Israel's interests first. And as we know, 2016 debates, Trump specifically called out Marco Rubio for being propped up by the Adelsons, and now that's his biggest donor. So it's just a joke. Trump thinks we don't remember. We do. He's sold out to the Israel lobby.
Donald Trump's here. I mean, people wanted no new wars. They wanted the border secure. They wanted the economy turned around. They wanted inflation dealt with. Nothing. There was never. There was no demand from Trump's base. And so this is like one more example of Donald Trump just siding with the war hawks over his own people. Yeah. And one of the things that really, I find it like to be so, it's such a like an intolerable humiliation of Donald Trump supporters, is that all these guys, the war hawks, Marco Rubio, Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, like go down the list, all of them.
Yeah, all these people he's mentioning, if you remember at the first time that Trump ran, they literally hated him. They were all anti-Trump. They even J.D. Vance's vice president compared him to Hitler, and now he's his vice president. How does that happen unless you sell out to those same war hawks that you used to call out?
Ted Cruz, every last one of them. They were the never Trumpers. Like, I don't know if maybe some people just weren't paying attention to politics as long as I've been. They were the never Trumpers. Anyone but Donald Trump. They ran a front page cover of National Review saying never Trump. Anyone but Donald Trump, all of them. Ben Shapiro said on issues of because it's a matter of principle, I will never vote for Donald Trump. He said he would hold his nose and allow Hillary Clinton to be elected president before he sent his, at the time, massive audience to support Donald Trump. And now Donald Trump turns around and makes little Marco his national security advisor.
Remember how he embarrassed him on in the debates?
Yep. And he called him Little Marco. He used to tear him apart. And you know what he used to say? Man, dude, I hope I'm getting this right. There was, I believe there's a tweet, you could probably find it, where Donald Trump said something like, Sheldon Adelson will be able to control Little Marco. And that's why you can't let him be president.
And that's the guy, the lady's husband?
Yeah, he died, but Miriam Adelson is still alive, and they're his biggest donors. They've given him like hundreds of
$250 million.
Millions of dollars. Yeah. It's and that's, I don't even think that, like, if you counted the money for his first run, his second run, and the midterms, they're probably close to $1 billion that they've given.
Look at this tweet right there. Sheldon Adelson is looking to give big dollars to Rubio because he feels he can mold him into his perfect little puppet. Wow. I agree.
Listen,
he says,
okay,
I want to show you guys this because this is very much needed to be said, and Trump needs to be called out for this. Look at this. This is the Adelsons, the biggest donor of Trump's political campaign, the ones that he's always bringing on stage at political events. He was literally calling out Marco Rubio for being propped up by the Adelsons in 2016. And now his wife, who took over the whole industry, is now propping up Trump. How do you? It's just amazing. It's like they think that we don't know how to use technology or look at previous things you've said. It's amazing. As a previous Trump supporter, they treat us like we are too retarded to look at the past on what they said and stood on.
Because he feels he can mold him into his perfect little puppet. Wow. I agree.
Listen,
he says.
Okay, he agrees with that. Just to be clear, this is just a fact.
This is 2015.
Nobody has been molded into more of a puppet for the Adelsons than Donald Trump. And Donald Trump now, I know you've probably seen a couple of it's so crazy. And I'm not saying this is the case. I don't think this is the case. But it almost seems like Donald Trump is like mocking them when he'll talk about how much they just care about Israel.
Mhm.
Like he goes out of his way
About who just cares
to
about
Miriam Adelson and Sheldon Adelson, that he'll go, they gave me a lot of money and they called me all the time and they always come by and they're always asking for something and it's always for Israel and I do it all. I give it all to it. Like he's just openly telling you that look, Miriam Adelson is a Palestinian. Theo, she
really?
was born before the creation of the state of Israel in what is today Israel. Am I right about this? What year? Born in 1945 you could say Israeli American, but there's no such thing as Israel in 1945. Israel wasn't created till 1948. She was born in Palestine.
She was born in Tel Aviv, mandatory Palestine.
Mandatory Palestine, right. So anyway, so she's from there. Now,
is this a new term, mandatory Palestine?
It was a term at the time.
It was.
It was a term at the time where they basically they were like, we're not doing imperialism anymore. We're just doing mandates.
Yeah.
It's mandates where we come in and run the country, and we'll take some of the resources too.
Yeah.
But
it's just such an interesting term, mandatory Palestine. Okay. So that's where she was born, though.
And let me just say about
so
him.
by land, she was Palestinian.
Yes. So now he was born in America, but
Who, Sheldon?
Yeah, Sheldon was born
He's
in
black
America.
or no?
No, he's not black. Actually, Jewish fella. He is on record saying that his biggest regret in life is that he wore the American military uniform and not the IDF uniform.
Really?
So these are like Israel firsters,
right?
Openly, and Donald Trump says as much.
Oh yeah, well Donald Trump is
he sold out. It's really plain and simple. Donald Trump sold out to the neocons that he let take over his first administration. The same thing is happening in Trump 2.0. Just this time around,
Gino, their whole brand.
This time around, it's so much more blatant in your face.
There's a broader thing that's involved here, right? The point is that the Drain the Swamp, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, their whole brand, the whole thing was that, look, there are these criminals in DC and look at all the things that they've done. And they would all talk. It wasn't just Epstein. They would all talk about Russiagate, the 2020 election. I mean, look, what these guys are claiming, and I don't know about the 2020 election, but they're 100% right on Russiagate and Epstein when they were talking about it before they sold out, is that they go, look, the intelligence agencies framed a presidential candidate, and then the sitting president, they framed him of treason in order to unseat a democratically elected president of the United States of America. That is the biggest scandal in the history of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Like these are huge crimes, sedition, treason, very serious crimes.
And nobody's paying them.
They locked down the whole country based on pseudoscience. They covered up a senile president. They covered up a pedophile ring. They and now you guys are in charge of the Justice Department. How many indictments?
Yeah.
Zero. And then you're going to sit there and Kash Patel is going to tweet out a picture of like some dude throwing a sandwich at a cop and go, we got him because this is Kash Patel's America, boys. People don't get away with crimes here. Yeah. Like that's, oh, wow, great job. Wow, Kash Patel, we're all so impressed that you brought down Chauncey Billups.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's great, you know? Like, that's great, but like, that's not exactly what we were voting for.
Yeah, when I heard about them betting on sports leagues and actually going in, but yet ignoring all the Epstein stuff and not, arresting anyone in the deep state or anyone that's involved with Epstein or anyone who's committing treason and selling us out for overseas wars. When they went after the sports bettors, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is some bullshit. And it was. They just give us these little crumbs like we're like little rodents, and they just give us these little crumbs while they fuck with us and promise all this free stuff or promise they're going to do something and they do nothing about it. I no longer support either side. Like my requirements for voting in the future is one, no APAC money. If you are getting paid from Israel at all, I will never support anyone getting money from Israel. Two, you have to put the interests of America first and say that you are for America first and not be scared to say that. Because you guys see these videos of these politicians getting asked, hey, America first or Israel first? And it's like almost like they're too scared to say, hey, well, I'm in America. I represent America. So I would obviously choose America first. But they don't, because they're all owned by APAC, both sides. So Democrat, Republican, I would vote for any side if you put the interests of Americans first, which is what we need in the leadership roles. That's the hardest find to find in today's society, because it seems like Israel just owns all of the cards across the world. And it's pretty crazy, because they're the size of New Jersey, one state in the US. It's just insane to me how much political power they hold over our politicians. Oh, there it is.
He always seems like a fascinating cat. I mean, he's obviously fascinating. He's fast. People are fascinated by him.
Well, he's brilliant and he's hilarious. Which is already something that just like I just like that. I like funny people.
He's fucking brave, dude.
Well, he's definitely brave. And you know, we have some pretty large areas of disagreement, I think. But I've always kind of believed,
he's talking about Nick Fuentes, guys, by the way.
Like, I've always kind of believed, like, okay, so then it's just maybe this is kind of like a little naive or something. But my attitude was always like, all right, so we got some areas of disagreement. So like, hey, let's talk about them. And let's kind of like, let's have more conversations and more debates and more, you know what I mean? And just, you know, I think he gets a few things wrong, but then again, he gets some really major things right.
Real quick, my opinion on Nick Fuentes is I used to get almost all of my news from him. He's been right on both issues. He's been able to unite both sides when it comes to Israel, especially, and the Gaza genocide going on. But my one critique is, stop muting, blocking, deleting people, your fans who've been getting their news from you for years and love you, just for disagreeing on the Charlie Kirk Fed slop. You talk about how much you don't trust this administration, yet you were buying into the Charlie Kirk death flop. That Candace, who is like your arch enemy, and again, I like you more than her, but she has already exposed that he wasn't even present. So that just shows that you're so biased against her, you're not willing to eat your pride and just watch what she's exposed, because anyone defending the narrative from this administration on Charlie Kirk's murder is just plain lying, or just uneducated, or just doesn't care to learn the truth. And I would suggest you do that, because you're supposed to, you got a huge following. People trust and respect what you say. You're the young upcoming dude, and all you're doing is blocking and calling all of your followers fucking retards while you're muting all of them, instead of actually addressing the situation, which is Charlie Kirk wasn't assassinated the way we told he was. And I don't think it's a problem for people to ask that. So that's just my 2 cents. I hope you're having a great day. You as well, Jonathan.
And I think that this is part of the reason why they're all so scared of him. You know, if you want to say that like Nick goes down a road of like racialism, and even it's not exactly that he like it's not that he like is praising Hitler and Stalin. He's saying some complimentary things about them or something like that. But if you want to say that like going down this road of like racialism.
Yes, Jonathan, that was the craziest thing of it all. Seeing Nick Fuentes defending Israel when it comes to Charlie Kirk. Crazy. And he's like been the loudest people in regards to defending Gaza and the genocide, and has talked about how we shouldn't go into countries and cause havoc on people. And yet he supports the Venezuela going in and just taking their president, which is a regime change. That is the definition. So he's backtracking on that while supporting the Fed slop on Charlie Kirk. It's not a good look. And I see a lot of people calling out Nick Fuentes. I'm still a fan, but again, it's just not a good look.
And kind of revisionism about some brutal dictators in history. If you want to say, hey, that's wrong and that's off limits or something as like a cultural rule or a cultural norm. Well, how the hell is the guy who's defending a genocide going to tell me that that's the case? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you guys are going to tell me like, oh, Nick Fuentes is morally reprehensible, says the people signing the bombs that are going to drop on babies.
I agree.
Sorry. So you've lost that. It's just like, to me, it's like, that's over. You lose the ability to gatekeep this conversation. And now people like us will decide who the hell we want to talk to. And I decide Nick Fuentes is a very relevant, interesting person who I'd like to talk to.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with talking to most people. That's what I think most of the time. Every now and then there'll be somebody like, I don't think I would talk to them. But also it's wild that people assume you know everything about somebody when you're going to have them on the podcast or you're going to talk to them. It's like, dude.
And you should be able to disagree and agree and have civil dialogue, open debate with someone. That's the thing that they don't want us to do. The politicians, that is, they want us to stay divided, stay in our element, don't go to the other side and talk to them, and eventually come together and unite. Because again, they're selling us out for these overseas wars, and our fucking, sorry for my language, our fucking taxes are paying for it. That should infuriate every single taxpayer. And it does infuriate me. So this is one of my favorite people on X, and she usually is like right up there with how I feel as an American. And she says, "Dear Donald Trump," and she tells exactly how she feels about this administration and why she no longer supports them, as I don't as well.
This morning, Donald Trump had a meeting with all the House Republicans, and he wishes that they would explain to him what the hell is going on with the public, saying he has the right policies and doesn't understand the recent criticism. Well, the first problem is if you really wanted to know what was going on with the public, the last people on the planet you should be asking are the House Republicans. They're not going to tell you the truth. They'll tell you it's online anti-Semitism that's being paid for by influence by Qatar and Iran. I'll try and tell you the truth. So I'll tell you the truth from my perspective anyway. Campaigned on no new wars, but yet you've spent the majority of your first year as a president interfering in foreign conflict, while the rest of us really struggled this year. Okay, with inflation. You tell us there's no inflation, but our pocketbooks tell us that there is inflation. You tell us that the economy is better, but our pocketbooks say that the economy is not better. That tactic didn't work under the Biden administration, and it sure as shit isn't working anymore now.
I love that she brought up using it as both sides lie to us, think we're too stupid to see our everyday prices and our everyday spending. Yes, shit is expensive right now. Insurance is going up. Doctor bills is going up. Food is going up. Everyday prices are going up. Sure, gas is less and the border is secure, but besides that, nothing is better for everyday society. The roads in California look like shit. And you have the power to make these governors, these leaders in these states, to do something to actually help the tax-paying citizens, but you won't, because Trump is a Zionist first sellout, and he has sold out to the neocons, my opinion.
Everybody hates Lindsey Graham. Everybody hates Lindsey Graham. The tariff conversation, you built up and built up and built up and built up that we were going to get all this money from tariffs and that maybe eventually we weren't going to have to pay income taxes anymore. But so far, none of that has come to fruition. What you offered us instead was $2,000 checks. And I am firmly convinced you only offering us these $2,000 tax rebates in order to ensure that we're going to file our taxes. That the only reason you're doing that is because of the tax rule conversation that has been happening for a couple months now.
And not to mention, sorry to step in, they're trying to buy votes. They're talking about 6,000 Doge checks, got rid of those because it was all just a talking point to get people to support him. Then it was $2,000 payments. Now it's next year before midterms, we're going to send you $2,000 payments. No, how about you just eliminate taxes altogether? We will make a lot more than that $2,000. And if you guys are going to offer money, no less than $15,000. Every American that has at least worked 10 plus years and paid taxes and been a law-abiding citizen, you should get money, because our taxes have been screwed up and down, left and right. Let the politicians pay off the debt. They're the ones that got millions off these dead Americans in overseas wars that we as civilians have fought for them. And what have they done? They get rich. They're in their little townhouse Miami suites laughing at us normal everyday Americans who are barely getting by.
Finally caught fire. You built a ballroom. Fine. Build a ballroom. Fine. Use rich people's money to build the ballroom. I don't really care if you build a ballroom, but I don't understand why that was made a priority in the first year of your presidency and why you've tried to make it such a big deal in the first year of your presidency when people can't buy homes. And instead of helping people buy homes or making sure that people were making enough money to buy homes or even cars at this point, you offer them 50-year mortgages, which is basically a precursor to universal and generational debt. The Epstein documents. You called it a hoax. We all know it's not a hoax. We know it's not a hoax. We arrested some asshat from Venezuela in the middle of the night, get him on a plane, flew him back to this country, and then are trying him in New York in like 14 hours. We couldn't arrest one person that was involved in the Epstein list. You know that they shouldn't be redacted. You know that there's names of very high profile people on there that were sleeping with children. We arrested the president of Venezuela or the leader of Venezuela before we touched.
They won't release the Epstein files. As I said, we only get crumbs. And the reason why they don't release it is because Israel is complicit in it. The old prime minister of Israel was living with Epstein for years. Not to mention that plenty of people in this administration were tied up with Epstein. Howard Lutnick, a Jew in Trump's administration, who is literally always right next to him when he's on Air Force One or doing quick interviews, he literally was next door neighbors with Epstein, and he is Trump's right-hand man. So from the ground up, the system has been designed to benefit Israel from our taxes while we barely get by. While the Great Replacement Theory, which isn't a racist conspiracy, it's a true thing because it's happening. I mean, we're giving all of our taxes to this foreign country while they do nothing but just collect and get money. And it's just sad to see.
Anybody domestically. When the Democrats were in charge during Joe Biden's administration, they ruined everything. The COVID stuff, okay, going to war for Ukraine, the money laundering, they ruined everything. And there was no accountability. There's not even any talk of accountability. The only thing that we continue to see is everybody out here telling us that we should be more grateful, throwing us these breadcrumbs, screaming at us that we should be more grateful. The people of this country deserve better than that. You're giving us $2,000 tax rebate checks, but you're offering $3,000 right before Christmas for any illegal alien that is still in the.
I love this point right here. And I know some of my people who've come from Ren reviews are more liberal, and I'm fine with that. But we are giving illegals who are illegally here more to self-deport than we are giving our own military. You guys know that does not sound right. They're giving almost double to illegals to self-deport than our own military makes in a month. It's so sad.
A country that's willing to deport themselves back. Going to save us money in the long. No, bring somebody in, find them, and deport them. They're all on the welfare system anyway. Do a fucking audit. Just come in and deport them. Uphold the law. National Guard into all these big cities and deport them. So just do it. Instead, you're bribing them, and then they can go back with their $3,000 check, and then they can come back again. They got to do it legally this time. Sending millions and billions of dollars to both Israel and Ukraine while Americans are stuck here with 50-year mortgages. Did you know, and you have to know this, you're the president, that Israel has free health care, that Israel has free, they get checks for every month for every child that they have? Did you know that?
Yeah, for being a new mother, they get monthly checks from our taxes. Also, part of our taxes fund their military, and their military gets paid almost double the amount that our military done from our taxes, guys. Healthcare, free daycare, our taxes fund it all. Foreign country, this is just unbelievable.
They get checks for maternity leave. They have free schooling. They've got everything. Israel already has that. We don't have that, but Israel has that. But we keep sending the money. We pay for that when we can't afford to have that of our own. That's a problem. Doge audits. What happened with that? Why are we not holding more people accountable with the Doge stuff? Is anybody arrested? Is anybody going to be arrested? Shrimps on treadmill. How many millions of dollars for shrimps on treadmill? Is anybody going to be held accountable for any of that? There's too much foreign influence in our Congress, in our presidency, in everything. There's too much foreign influence. There's too much foreign lobbying. The riddles. Can we stop with the riddles? Every time something happens that is viewed relatively unpopular by the public, by you, to you, okay, all of a sudden we start posting Q stuff. It's old. It's tired out. It's done. With the riddles, we don't want riddles. We don't want riddles. We want transparency, and we want accountability, and we want to see it. We want it. That's what we want. That is what we voted for, and that is not what we're getting. We're getting more riddles. And I feel like this is just a few of the things that people are extremely disappointed in. So if you really want to, I doubt it, but if you really want to know, this is just a few. And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts the people in my comments will also name some of their frustrations. If you really want to know, don't ask the influencer. Don't ask the GOP. They're busy taking selfies and writing books. If you really want to know, come and ask us.
I absolutely love how that ended because, yes, the GOP, these paid grifters, and there's a bunch of them on Twitter, these paid grifters that get paid to push this propaganda for this administration, who I did vote for, just doing the same shit that happened under the Biden administration. They're just pushing them. Oh, this is the best administration ever. Anytime one little thing happens, acting like it's something spectacular. Yet they don't even bring up the Epstein files. They don't blame Trump, who is the big dog. Instead, they blame people like Pam Bondi, who, let's be honest, is a moron. Last but not least, Dan Bongino, as of today, is saying that he is going to go and rage war against the black fake MAGA grifters. And he's been trying to go at it at people like me, Matt Gaetz today, who are actually America First. And he thinks that the base likes this. And he's retweeting people like Mark Levin, who is the neocon king himself. And if you just look through his comments, he said, hold, like we're watching like a movie, like we're going to war or something. Look at these comments. Give it up, bro. You're demolished online. Your bots can't even keep up. We can't wait, Dan. Oh, yeah. Of course, there's always those few. Netanyahu gives you orders. You're really good at holding. It's just every comment is just dogging on him at like a 90% ratio. This shows that we are winning the information war. This shows that AIPAC is no longer winning in regards to the public forum and what people think about them. And it shows that we, the people, are the new noobs. And regardless how big they try to push these wars on big media, it just doesn't work anymore. The majority of the world does not want to continue funding this genocide for overseas foreign countries. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be doing another video or two tomorrow. Hope you guys have a blessed night. Let me know what you guys think of this video in the reaction or in the comment section. Have a blessed night.